here. Hey, everybody. Uh, we've got another office hours for our registration for a new grants management system at NBRC. Casey Haynes, I'm a program specialist here. Excited to dive in and answer questions folks have as it relates to any issues they've encountered signing up for the system and registering. Just a quick note that if we have time toward the end, we might be able to pivot a little bit toward questions specific to the pre-application. But this is primarily focused on the signing up, getting your organization signed up in our system. We've got 2 sessions next week where you can pop in, ask more questions about that pre-application, and we'll have folks able to either answer some of those technical questions about, where to find certain aspects of it, or direct you to your program's user manual if you need more guidance. So all that out of the way, I will go ahead and we're just going to kind of popcorn it around. If you want to use the raise hand function, we can take questions one by one. You can start putting questions into the chat. And we will just go from there. So I see Megan, your hand is up. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
It's a little quiet, but I can definitely hear you.
A little quiet. Okay. I was just curious. This is the 3rd time I've tried to register. Like the first time when I put in my organization's EIN, it like automatically put me in as like something with the state of Vermont. And then like came back, said, nope, do it as local government. So I did it again as local government. And then I rejected it again, said do it as other, like regional planning commission, which is what we are. And so I'm wondering, will this work? Like, what am I doing wrong?
I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. Yeah.
I've seen your attempts, and yes. So just for everyone's general knowledge, the system was built by our vendor with a list of organization types that are not actually super relevant to NBRC. And we've asked them to update that, and they have updated that. So you will now only see relevant, eligible organization types. Yours specifically, Megan, just so you know, I did call your office yesterday and used the number in your registration to try to have a conversation. I left a message, but yes, if you register using that other subdivisions of government, I think that's what it's called, I promise you I will approve it.
Okay, I just did that.
So this has been just sort of figure it out as we go kind of thing, and hopefully we've got this issue figured out, so folks who've been rejected will not have to be rejected again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so if you've tried registering and you've gotten a notice about organization type, that is a thing that we've addressed. And so if you've been asked to re-register, I will ask that you get that one in. It takes, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours for it to kind of like work its way through and then come to us on our list, and then we do our review of it. So it's not immediate back to back, like we get it and are able to approve it. So just sort of letting you know that kind of timeline there. All right, Cynthia. Oh, you're muted.
Hello, sorry about that. I just want to jump on. Yesterday, I was inputting my verbiage into the application, and I was saving at the bottom of the screen, and it was not saving. I mean, I would have to go back in, and it was gone. So I didn't know if anyone else has experienced that. When I saved with using the button at the top of the screen, it was good. It kept my verbiage, but the bottom, it would lose it if I went out and then came back in. So I just wanted to make you aware of that and see if anyone else had that challenge.
Great note. Thank you. I'm going to ask Sarah, if you don't mind, just kind of taking a note of that. And we'll check and see if that's, if we're noted. We haven't heard of that being an issue. But again, if anyone on this call is also experiencing that, that's super helpful for us to know. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Sorry you've been experiencing those difficulties there.
Well, it might have been user error too, so I don't know. But
I think I saw that Manisha is on here too. Just so you know, Casey. So hopefully Manisha can take note of those kinds of things as well.
Great. Janet, we've got you on.
Hi, thank you. So I just got asked to be part of this process literally like 24 hours ago. So I apologize if my questions are not appropriate, but the two questions that I had are the group that I'm working with probably isn't going to make this pre-application deadline, so it will be for the fall. So is everything going to be the same for the most part, with the exception of maybe the amount of money that's available, the same process that everybody's going to go through?
Yes,
Okay.
everything is planned to be replicated again for the fall funding opportunity. So everything should be the same in terms of process.
Perfect. And my other question is does this system work like web grants and grants.gov, where you have the organization sign up and then the grant writer gets like associated with the account?
It does. So the initial setup should be done by the program or the organization's authorized official or representative. And then once the organization is registered, that that person can add additional contacts to their organization or to a particular pre-application. And we do have directions in our training materials, in our guidance, for folks to be able to add those contacts. And yes, you can add they can add you as a grant writer, and then you will have access to the pre-application.
Okay, awesome.
And
Thank
Casey,
you so
if I
much.
messed that up, sorry.
Oh, no, that's great. I'm just doing a little double check over the sort of step-by-step user guide here to check and see that secondary user registration.
I don't think
Um, Okay, we're going to be posting an updated version of it that has some screenshots to kind of give you, in short, I can just show you real quick. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to share my screen for just a moment. Okay, can we see that there?
Yes.
All right. So if you're logged in, you can go to your organization profile on the left-hand side. And this is my sort of dummy test account here, but you can scroll down to the contact section, click add new.
So the organization would set up themselves and then they would add the and then you guys would have to approve it, and then they would add anybody who they want to have access. It wouldn't go through you directly.
Correct.
Okay.
So yes, so that first person who sets up the organization would then come in, would log back in once they've been approved, fill these items out, hit save. That would create them in this list of contacts here, but they would just need to make sure that they're pressing this little send invitation icon. That's how that secondary person comes in and confirms their account in there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. This is super helpful.
Absolutely. All right, Amy.
Hi, it's MA from Barry area. I think a lot of the questions that are being asked are addressing some of my questions. I'm applying on behalf of the municipality. Our organization is applying on behalf of the municipality. They have an old account with NBRC, and they have not been able to get in and update what was an old city manager's email and an old my predecessor's role when they last applied. And so I'm at a standstill. I can't go in as the secondary because they haven't even updated that. And so I'm not sure if you can answer my question. It's perhaps more granular and personal than this full group, but I'm worried. I'm ready to jump in, but I can't even get in. And I didn't know if there's some sort of workaround or what you would advise.
Yeah, so to your point, I've also, you're not the first person who's asked sort of a similar question. And this is an area where we could maybe on our end add a little bit more clarity, but this new grant management system is only for the moment.
But I don't see it.
I'm just gonna mute there for a sec. So the grant management system is only for applicants for this current round of funding onward. So the Catalyst, Timber for Transit, PEP programs. So if you're applying this funding round, getting your pre-application in, you'll create a new organization account in this system. It's a totally new system from what we had before. And so any existing awardees aren't being put into that system just yet. We're kind of processing all of that this same way as we normally would for the time being. So
Okay, so they need to go in as a brand new, as if they'd never existed, start a new thing, even though they have a SAM, maybe use their SAM ID, put that all in, and then they can add me as the secondary, as the grants manager who will be actually doing the application. Is that correct? Okay, and that process, once they actually do register, it takes about an hour and a half for approvals. Is that around, so once they sit down to do that?
So that's that. My caveat is that is about how long it takes to get to us. There's
Gotcha.
a little bit of a lag time for us even being able to review it. So just kind of a note of that. We're pretty quick about seeing those and reviewing those. Sarah's been doing such an awesome job at that. And so definitely, I would say definitely give it like 24 hours. And if we haven't gotten back to you within that time, let us know.
I'm sorry, just two more questions. You're probably not working on the weekend, or are you?
Yeah, I was gonna add that we are really fast at getting back to you between the hours of like 8 and 6 p.m. But I do need to sleep, and I do have a family and take weekends off. So if you submit it at like 2 in the morning, I won't see it until I log in the morning.
Of course not. And then my last question, and this is probably, I think I know the answer to it, but since I'm the person applying, or the organization applying on behalf of and doing the work on behalf of the municipality, it probably doesn't make sense for my organization to create an account and go in there, because it's actually the municipality that's the one that's applying for the grant. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Mary.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for this. And thanks for a pretty speedy approval of our registration for my organization this morning. The thing everyone is kind of looking for is a budget form. I'm in the application now, and there is a budget tab, and I'm on that tab. And our team is kind of wondering, is there a form we need to upload, and where is it?
Well, I am happy to announce that you do not need to upload a specific form at this stage with it. I will note, I will diverge from our registration for just a moment to touch on that. Just to clarify, there's sort of a plus sign, and you're able to like expand that and see those budget categories. Is that?
Oh, okay. I don't.
So check that. So there is some budget information that you'll need to fill out, but it's
I see the
built
plus,
directly
yeah.
into the system. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So
Yeah, I
you'll
didn't.
fill that out. When it gets to the full application, there is sort of a more detailed, granular budget form that we'll ask you to upload. But for the moment, it is a little bit more high level and right in the system.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Right. Anyone else have any other questions?
Yes.
All right, go for it. Nope. Robert, I think we're ready. If you have a question or.
Yes. How much time do we have for the registration period?
What, Sarah, help me out. It's like it's open until the 22nd. Is that what we said?
Yeah, you'll be able to register right up to the pre-application deadline. It's just that I would not encourage you to wait until the last minute because you'll need time to fill out the pre-application. So sooner the better.
Okay, and that's to the 22nd, you say?
Correct.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Pre-applications are due by 5 p.m. on March 22nd. So as Sarah said, you can register anytime, but recognizing it takes time to complete the registration process and time to input information into the pre-application. You'll want to likely do it well ahead of that date.
Yeah, we just kind of found out about the program this week is why I ask. And being a county, you got to go through the loop to get approvals and so forth, which I'm in the process of getting. I'm sure I'm going to get, but I'm reluctant to register immediately because that would be a boo-boo. A question I would have in the program is being that our county, we have a full engineering department and a full department that can do construction work. We would be looking at trying to do all the work in-house, and our local share would be out of some part of the construction work that we would be doing. Does that fit into the program? And a second question to that, because not seeing all your rules yet, um, being that it's all in-house, there wouldn't be any contract work other than buying the materials for the timber and so forth for the project. So there would be, if there are minority requirements for anything, it would be good to know. Are there any minority requirements? Is there any issues with us doing a project totally in-house?
So you can count the work that you provide towards a grant as match, if that's your preferred way of providing match. You can also be reimbursed for those costs. That will come down to exactly how you provide your match and what you want NBRC funds going towards. For the purchases of materials, we do have procurement standards. You'll want to reference our grants administration and compliance manual for details on specific procurement methods and limits to small purchases when an RFP or a bid process is required. So I can go ahead and put that link in the chat for you so that you can become familiar with our procurement standards. But everything you've described, I don't see a problem with. We do require that any sort of bid process is done in a way that is accessible to minority and women-owned businesses as well. And those details are also in the grants administration and compliance manual.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, and if you, as you dig into it, you have more questions, I would encourage you to shoot an email to us at admin@nbrc.gov, and we'd be happy to help direct you to more information. Fantastic. Does anyone else have other registration questions, things they're running into? Ruth.
Thank you. I'm the grant writer for our organization, and our executive director thinks he went through the right registration process to get it started. So how would I be able to tell him what to look for to be accepted? I guess is what I want to know.
Yeah, so well, we can definitely check on our end too to see the status of that organization registration.
Okay.
But I believe the way that it works is once you've sent in the registration, we approve it. Sarah, do you know if they get I believe you get an approval confirmation and then a link to log in and like set your password, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you'll get an
Okay.
automated email that says basically you're approved or your registration has been rejected for this reason. So your executive director should have gotten that email, and that will have instructions on what to do next.
Okay, and that comes through an MBRC email address?
Comes
have to-
from a Salesforce address, but it'll usually have, it'll say like on behalf of,
Okay,
whoever approved your, whoever reviewed it.
okay, thank you. I just need to tell them what to look for. Thanks.
Hi, KFC, if I may add. So the first approval email would come from a member from NBRC. So whoever's reviewing the registration, and the second email will come from admin at nbrc.gov.
Yes, thank you so much for correcting me there. Awesome, thank you. Great. Oh, Barbara, did you have a question?
Excuse me. Yes, thank you. Just in reference to the source of the email confirmation, our executive director noticed that the Salesforce, whoever input the NBRC as the source of the information initially wrote it as NCRB. So he thought it was phishing or spam or something. So just if you're searching for NBRC, you might also want to search for NCRB to see if you can find that email.
Now we had some preliminary kind of account setup things that ended up with an email address that was a little bit funky. So if you do see that, don't worry about it. It's legit. But thank you for bringing attention to it. All right. Any questions? We have a little bit of time. We can either end it early, or if folks have pressing pre-application questions, I'm happy to keep going on that train if my colleagues are also good to hang in there and keep going.
I'm happy to, Casey, but I was hoping I could ask, do a little poll question of people who are here. I'm curious if folks could raise their hand if they are here because they are applying for a Catalyst grant. Okay. And how about if you're here thinking about applying for a FEP grant? Okay, and how about Timber for Transit?
Oh. I can't get
Robert, are you Timber for Transit? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, that was helpful. I was just curious what the range of potential applicants looked like. I appreciate everyone playing that game with me.
Thank you. All right, well, we will forge onward. Amy, I see you have your hand raised.
Hi, it's MA.
Sorry.
That's okay, no worries. These are more technical questions that I probably will answer myself once I can actually get into the application. But it sounds like there is no opportunity to upload supporting documents in this application. Is that correct? So if we have like letters of support, or we want to upload our financials, is there an opportunity to do that or no?
So during the full application phase, there will be more supporting documentation that we ask for and that you will upload. For the pre-application phase, there's some kind of general project information. There's some budget narrative information that you'll fill out, sort of a budget table that's, again, those sort of high level areas. And then if you need any of 3 different kind of waivers, there's a couple of different waiver information you'll see on there. It's in the program manual. If any of those are applicable, you'll fill out those templates and upload those. But that's about it for the pre-application. So it's relatively light, but we will be asking for more details if the applicant is invited for the full application phase.
Okay, so similar to last year, in that last year, well, there was the letter of intent period. But this replaces the letter of intent, but it doesn't it's not when we provide, you know, all of the backing or all of the detail. It's a narrative, sounds like.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And we'll be posting similar kind of helpful, you know, user guide for the application process as we have for the registration and pre-application. So there's more to come on that.
Robo, thanks for your comment in the chat. We like being able to make ourselves accessible for questions. There are a lot of moving parts, and so we definitely want to be able to help out where we can. So if anyone has any other questions, registration or pre-application or anything like that, feel free to jump right in with those.
I guess just having opened this morning for the first time and getting the form into application view and then trying to find it again. I found it in recently viewed. Is that the right place to be working on it? Or, I mean, it works, so.
Well, I'm glad you found that recently viewed piece. I know in my own experience and kind of doing some of the testing, it goes from you're looking at it as in that opportunities section when you're kind of just starting, right?
Yeah.
And then you qualify that opportunity and then you kind of create your application from that. I'm going to share my screen for just a moment. Okay. So I'm on my little home page. Oh, I'm on the wrong home page. There we go. Okay. So I'm on my sort of home page here. If I want to see my list of applications, I believe I go here. Wait, no, this is not correct. I'm still in the wrong place. Let me just.
Casey, you can go to the, are you looking for the pre-applications?
Yeah.
There should be a left-hand navigation that says pre-application. Yeah, right there.
Okay. Perfect. Yes, so the applications tab and then that pre-applications is where you can find that. Once it's been converted, I believe, you should be able to find it under that full application phase a little bit later on.
Okay. All right. It probably just takes a beat or two.
Yeah, it's a learning process, as I've demonstrated.
No, on this end for sure. Thanks.
Any other thoughts, questions? Ooh. All right. Well, I'm famously bad at coming up with relevant questions in the moment. So if you're like me, and as soon as you get off the call, you do have something pop into your head, just shoot us an email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can there. All right. Thank you all so much for coming in, and we look forward to seeing what awesome projects you send our way.
Thank you.
very much.
Take care, everybody.